laws. Why not, right? So here we have a dumb bitch. And I gotta, make sure my browser fits this. Okay. So here we got a dumb bitch, also known as the governor of Nebraska, say something extremely interesting. So let's watch.
So this is a dangerous drug that will impact our kids. If you legalize marijuana, you're going to kill your kids. That's what the data shows from around the country.
Okay, so the dumb bitch who currently has the most power in the state of Nebraska somehow thinks that the year is 1978 or something. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out like a scenario where this makes sense. But so marijuana is going to kill your kids, folks. It's a dangerous drug. Like, imagine being... This is my thing, right? Now, I've been doing drugs for a while now. Like, it's a great way to start a story. I've been doing drugs for a while now. And everything that everyone told me about drugs, right, has been completely wrong, right? But imagine, like, you're a human being, right? And there's a plant that exists, right? And you can, like, put it on your tomato sauce, and it makes it taste a little better. Yeah, I'm talking about oregano, folks. Why would you want to outlaw that plant? All it does is make your life better, right? That's all it does, right? Like, it's outlawing marijuana is about as logical as outlawing oregano, outlawing basil. Why would you do so? You wouldn't, because you're not a dumb bitch. But these people live in an alternate reality. They live in, like, some bizarre... like they live in some alternate world, like a fantasy novel, like I'm like fucking playing like Elder Scrolls or something. They live in this fantasy world where like, all of a sudden this herb that exists is just going to kill you now for some reason. Home in the chat. The cops are going to kill your kids if they smoke weed and it's the weed's fault. That's basically, yes, that's correct actually. It's more likely that cops are going to kill your kids if you're smoking weed than the actual marijuana itself. Right, but let's listen to the full statement. This is 23 seconds, folks. 23 seconds of goodness and then also gracious. Let's give it another shot.
So this is a dangerous drug that will impact our kids. If you legalize marijuana, you're going to kill your kids. That's what the data shows from around the country. And that's why it's...
Okay, I'm sorry. I hate to pause it, but I'm really just trying to understand. Okay? So if you legalize marijuana, like, it's like, okay, so you sign the bill, right? Marijuana is legal in Nebraska, and then instantly every kid just drops dead? What? There's a leap in logic here that is like, I'm really trying to, I know it's 23 seconds, and I'm really, really trying to get through this, right? Okay, so the bill has been signed, or will be signed if this guy weren't a dumb bitch, right? So the bill would be signed, and then as soon as as soon as you lift the pen off of the paper, everyone under the age of 18 is just gonna drop dead. I'm just like, is it like entering like a kill all code in a video game or something? Like I'm trying to figure this out. So let's listen again. Thinking caps on, folks. Let's listen.
So this is a dangerous drug that will impact our kids. If you legalize marijuana, you're going to kill your kids.
Now, okay, so I understand. Okay, let's assume that the fantasy world is correct. All right, marijuana is dangerous. All right? Now, it's going to impact the kids. Now, again, if you're having mothers and fathers smoking weed all day and not caring for their children, I can see how that would impact a child, for sure. But is that going to immediately kill the child? I'm not sure about that. I don't think that that's true. So it's just like, this is a really, like, okay, so it will impact the children by killing them. All right. Anyway, let's continue.
The data shows from around the country.
Right, the data. So that's what the data shows. So we've got 13 more seconds in this clip. Will we get some data? Is it possible? Let's find out.
And that's why it's dangerous to go around the established process we have to determine whether or not drugs are safe and effective, and why legalizing marijuana and going around the regulatory process to keep people safe is dangerous and going to harm our kids. So this is a dangerous drug that will impact our kids. If you legalize marijuana, you're going to kill your kids. That's what the data shows from around the country. And that's why it's dangerous to go around the established process we have to determine whether or not drugs are safe and effective, and why legalizing marijuana and going around the regulatory process to keep people safe is dangerous and going to harm our kids.
So the argument is that marijuana is going to kill kids, but then he backpedals. Now, so then it's only marijuana that's not regulated. Well, why don't you legalize marijuana and have regulated dispensaries? What about that? No, because then it's going to kill your kids. Well, is marijuana going to kill your kids, or is the lack of regulation going to kill your kids? What? And then it's also like, you realize like almost half the country, like the states in this country, have legalized marijuana. Last time I checked, right, now I live in a state where marijuana is illegal, right? But just north of me is a state called Virginia. And they just legalized marijuana in Virginia recently. Now, again, we can disagree with the legalization process there, but so they just legalized for marijuana in Virginia. I know it's legal in DC, right? They did it in New Jersey too. Did all the kids die? Was there a mass death? There's been a lot of mass death recently, and let me just tell you, it's not because of marijuana that there's been mass death. Like, the party of mass death is the Republican Party. So so this guy, right, whom, now someone can, look into this for me if you want, but this guy's a Republican. I'm assuming he doesn't believe in germs. I'm assuming he voted for Donald Trump. So the party of mass death, the party of the cult of capitalism that has killed 500,000 people, including children, that same party is going to say, watch out. All your kids are going to die instantly if weed is legalized, except for all these other states where that happened, and except for like the entire country of Mexico where they're gearing up to legalize weed, and except for Canada, which they already legalized marijuana, and except for all those other countries in Europe that have legalized marijuana. So it's only going to kill all the kids in Nebraska? Is it something in the water? Is something in the water in Nebraska like having a counteractive effect with marijuana that's going to kill all the kids? I'm really trying. I know that this bit has lasted way longer than it deserves to, but I'm really trying to figure this one out. It's really interesting. But I want to end this clip with the Republican nominee for president in the year 2016 and the year 2020, believe it or not.
Only the really, I hate to say this, but those with the lowest IQ